cohort of 24 में, because those two students जो cohort 23 में गए थे, they did so well in Zepto. Cohort 24 में Zepto has hired 12 students from Masters Union in a single year. 70% of all of classes are actually taught by visiting practitioners. Students सीधा सीख ही उनसे रहा है जो कि फ्यूचर में इन बच्चों के रिक्रूटर्स होंगे. There's another team that is presenting their idea and solution as part of Samagra's case competition to the UPCM. Average CTC that we had is 28.5. In the cohort of 2024, usme we saw that 22 of my students out of the batch of 200 have actually gone on to become founders full time. This is not a school for everyone. We do not follow as a day zero, day one type placement approach.
Spoon feeding.
हाँ, मतलब वो नहीं है. We follow a very personalized कि अच्छा आपको किधर जाना है. We want to help you reach your career. If you're looking for like a सिर्फ placement चाहिए भाई मुझे तो स्कूल से, then I think there are other schools who are probably doing it in a faster way for you.
So hi guys, I'm in Masters Union today and this is the second time I'm coming to the campus. I'm making a video for them for the third time and I have a lot of questions that you've asked me as comments in my comment section कि क्या इनके placements authentic हैं, इतनी जल्दी इतने अच्छे placements कैसे लग रहे हैं, और भी बहुत सारे questions हैं. Now that I know the institute closely, so I have with me Mahak Garg. She is the director of the PG programs, and who better than her to answer all of your questions. And we're going to touch on the placements aspect today. Today is also a very special day because unke cohort of 2024 ka placements just hua hai, and I have had to see a lot of statistics and a lot of data jo aap padhoge abhi us placement report mein, and I'm going to ask a few things about this report as well. I mean jo hua is saal with respect to their placements. So my first question is, a lot of people have asked me in my comment section and I was thinking कि जब भी मैं आपसे मिलूंगा I'll ask this, कि it's only been 4 years now, 4 batches have passed out. I think it's the 5th batch, correct me if I'm wrong, which is entering. And the placements have been stellar to say the least, because you have a lot of brands as well, consulting brands like Bain, McKinsey have come in, and then the salaries are also very high. So how have you achieved this? And yeah, just tell us about this please.
So welcome Abhishek to the Masters Union campus, and we're obviously very happy to host you, and I'm very happy to be on your channel. Thank you for interviewing me. To your question, and of course sometimes some things seem to be too good to be true. Sometimes I feel that about us. I feel this is a very magical place. मुझे खुद को भी लगता है कि ये कई बार we are just doing a lot of really good things. To answer your question, there are multiple things that have helped us achieve the kind of career outcomes that we have. The first thing is, अगर आप देखेंगे 70% of all of my classes are actually taught by visiting masters, right? Visiting practitioners. What that means is that students सीधा सीख ही उनसे रहा है जो कि future में इन बच्चों के recruiters होंगे, right? Which means that they're learning from people like Rajat Mathur, जो कि MD है Morgan Stanley में. They're learning from people like Manoj Kohli ji, who's also our chairman, and he was the ex-CEO of Airtel. People are learning from someone like Edward, who is the ex-chief knowledge officer of NASA. 20% of all the faculties that are teaching electives are actually international faculties. So, अगर आप देखेंगे, a lot of time what ends up actually happening is कि these faculties, while they're teaching the students, and this is how it happened for a lot of consulting companies also, some of their partners are taking classes at Masters Union. They come here with the thought कि हम कहते हैं कुछ नहीं आप पढ़ाइए, आपको जो लगता है कि आज के लिए skills students have to develop. They come, they teach that, and when they interact with the students, they're like, oh my god, these are students who we would love to have in our companies back. In fact, इस बार आप सोचिए, students are learning private equity from the managing director of Everstone. So who better than him to teach the students, and from that उन्हें अगर एक दो students लगते हैं कि यार ये तो I want this student in my, because it's a win-win for both the people, right? Students के लिए भी you're learning directly from someone as senior, so you're getting the deep insights of the industry, and for that individual you're actually getting to access incredible talent, and you're able to make your own picks. So that is one. Second, the way we interact with industry, again, because we understand हम नए हैं, तो sometimes a company might have reservation कि यार I don't want to commit my numbers to you yet. So what we've done successfully is that we've said कोई बात नहीं, let's either bring your CXOs to the campus for fireside chats. तो आप देखिए Zepto cohort 23 में कैवल्या जी, जो कि the co-founder and CTO of Zepto हैं, he came to Masters Union in cohort 2023. He interacted with the students. There was a student जिसने पूरा अपना deck in the format of Zepto app बनाया था. And I had not asked him to do it. Nobody had asked him to do it. It was just the sheer hustle of the student कि उसने ऐसा किया. We showed it to him. ठीक है. That opened his mind कि I want to hire talent from there. Now imagine cohort of 24 में, because those two students जो cohort 23 में गए थे, they did so well in Zepto. Cohort 24 में Zepto has hired 12 students from Masters Union in a single year. So that kind of exposure where हम कहते हैं कि okay, you come and interact with our students, we believe that our quality is good. आपको नहीं पसंद आए, don't commit anything to us on day one. The third thing that we've done with a lot of corporations is that we've done a lot of live projects. So Microsoft के साथ, again, we had 5 students who did a live project for 3 months. And live project mein students would visit Microsoft every week, once in a week, and work with the product management team. And then eventually they gave a presentation to the director of product for all of Asia. And that's how, again, Microsoft's team got a chance to assess our talent. Similarly, we've had one-day challenges. That's again a concept that we've uniquely come up with, where हम कहते हैं कि आपकी कंपनी में एक प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट होगी. आज स्टूडेंट इज स्टडिंग गो टू मार्केट स्ट्रैटेजी इन माय क्लास. ठीक है. अब एक ऑप्शन है मैं बोलूँ कि असाइनमेंट सबमिट करो, वो प्रोफेसर चेक करेंगे ना आपको फीडबैक दे देंगे. दूसरा मेथड जो हमने अडॉप्ट किया है वो ये है कि वी कॉल द प्रोटैगनिस्ट ऑफ अ कंपनी. वी टेल देम दैट आप इस सब्जेक्ट से टाई अप होती हुई कोई प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट मुझे दीजिए, which the student will work on, and they will present that problem statement to the protagonist of the company. इस तरीके से हमारे पास Cars 24 has given us live one-day challenges. We've had one-day challenges with Make My Trip. We have had one-day challenges with Marico. We've had one-day challenges with Live Space and so many more. So again, we are just trying कि क्योंकि आज हम इस hub में हैं, which is गुड़गांव का corporate hub. So our location becomes a big advantage that no one hesitates to come here. लोग कहते हैं अच्छा ट्रैवल करके देख लेते हैं, स्टूडेंट्स से इंटरेक्ट करना सबको अच्छा लगता है बिकॉज स्टूडेंट्स हैव सो मच एनर्जी, राइट? सो दैट्स समथिंग पीपल एंजॉय. And as we speak, Abhishek, and I was getting a little nostalgic. In fact, our students right now, there are 2 teams. There's one team which is currently in the finale for Reliance Cup. They have this very, very big case competition across the country. There's another team that is presenting their idea and solution as part of Samagra's case competition to the UPCM. So, बहुत सारे students are also going out into these case competitions to create awareness
And
about
this is
the
happening
master.
today. अभी
This
हो रहा है.
one's happening like right now as
right
we're
now,
shooting this.
yeah.
And इससे पहले हमारी team इस बार first आई है in Flipkart's case competition. Last year की teams में there was a team which came second globally in a Harvard case competition. There's a team this year which has come, I'm forgetting the ranks of it, but SDA Bokoni mein they've done really well. They've come in the first, second or something. ISB, IAMs, in sub में case competitions में our students are really seeing a lot of wins. So what that does is that वहाँ से भी companies are getting to know about our talent quality and talent pool. So yeah, I think while it might seem that it's an overnight success, but I think there's a lot of hard work that the team has put in to, structurally get our word out there. Last thing in this I would say is that हम लोगों ने बहुत सारी जगहों पे, because as an academic institute, I had the luxury of having the best professors on campus. Now, we also do a lot of round tables for our CXOs, CHROs, CEOs, where we bring in our masters to these round tables, and in exchange, what we're trying to understand is where is the industry going? कौन सी इंडस्ट्री में हायरिंग ट्रेंड्स दिख रहे हैं, कौन सी इंडस्ट्री में अभी स्लो डाउन आने वाला है, so that we can at the back end strategize on how can we help our students better, so that even if the markets are choppy, which was the case in 2024, we're still able to have a very good placement outcome.
Perfect. Thank you for such lovely detailed answers, Mahak. I'll summarize this for you all, जितना मैं समझ पाया हूँ. In short, so Masters Union strategically अगर आप देखो अभी जो मैं आया हूँ, it's located at a very prime corporate hub center. So you have companies like Gartner just बगल में. So when Mahak said that a lot of masters, a lot of industry professionals, they come and they give you practical learning, it's easily possible for them as well because of the strategic location. Secondly, the program is structured in such a way that instead of faculty you have masters. तो अभी masters जब कह रहे थे Mahak, so she meant faculty in a way because they're teaching, but these are industry These are people with more of industry work ex or experience rather than just someone who's done a PhD and never been into the industry and teaching. So these are a few things because of which people get a lot of practical experience and which is reflected in those case competitions जो आप कह रहे हो.
जी.
And I think which is also why, and now I'll come to this second aspect of placements, कि कुछ time पहले तक I used to see myself, because I used to see a lot of placement reports, there are a lot of founders office roles, and you know that founders office roles are roles where you work with the probably the CEO or the co-founder or CMO. In new age startups you get a lot of learning compared to just traditional marketing or finance roles. They were offered at Masters Union, और अभी I think 20 plus students, they've just gone on to start their own startups, ventures, and they've even got funding. So tell us something about this and how they've done that.
So Abhishek, अगर आप हमारा curriculum देखेंगे, the pedagogy revolves around learn business by doing business. ठीक है. अगर आज मैं आपको बोलूँ कि आपको एक प्ले ना आपको सिर्फ देखना है, या फिर आपको एक प्ले के बारे में जिस पढ़ना है, वर्सेस अगर आप एक प्ले में प्रोटैगनिस्ट हैं जिसमें आप एक्ट कर रहे हैं, योर मेमोरी एंड एबिलिटी टू know the minutest detail of that play will be very high when you're acting in the play, which is what we want for our students, कि you learn business by doing business. So हर term में there are two set of things that are happening. One is in class, जो कि आप सब कुछ academically जो सीख रहे हो inside the classroom, उसमें ये वन डे चैलेंजेस, केस मेथड, डिस्कशन, सिमुलेशंस, ये वो सारा कुछ है. आउट क्लास इज़ वेयर आप ये सारी नॉलेज अप्लाई कर रहे हो इन ऑलमोस्ट लाइक अ सिमुलेशन. तो पहले टर्म में हर स्टूडेंट विल गो थ्रू अ ड्रॉप शिपिंग चैलेंज, उसके बाद स्टूडेंट्स विल गो थ्रू द वेंचर इनिशिएशन प्रोग्राम, जिसके लिए हर स्टूडेंट को मैं चाहती हूँ कि हर कोई एक स्टार्टअप आइडिया पे काम करे.
It's mandatory.
It is mandatory as part of my pedagogy. Even if a student says कि भाई मुझे तो सिर्फ जॉब चाहिए यहाँ से, I'm like, I know you want a job, but this is my process for it, कि आपको एक स्टार्टअप पे अपना काम करना है. Now what ends up happening is you develop that mindset of a owner. और अगर आज आप we done, like I was reading a survey by Adam Grant, and he had done the survey with lot of managers and founders, कि what are the top 3 skills जो आप देखते हो किसी को हायर करने से पहले. आप देखते हो कि किसी में ओनरशिप कितनी है, किसी में हसल कितना है, किसी में ग्रोथ माइंडसेट कितना है. नोबडी इज सेइंग कि अच्छा आपको ये मार्केटिंग, परफॉर्मेंस मार्केटिंग का ये स्पेसिफिक चीज़ आती है कि नहीं, बिकॉज इफ़ यू हैव द राइट माइंडसेट आप सीख लोगे. दैट इज़ व्हाट पीपल हायर फॉर, स्पेशली एज यू गो सीनियर. मेरे को कॉलेज चलाना बिल्कुल नहीं आता था, मैंने कभी नहीं चलाया है, बट इट्स बिन 2.5 years that I've been at this role now. But I have worked on my startup ये वो. So then that mindset कि अगर बच्चा हसल कर रहा है on the ground, he or she will figure out everything else. तो उसके चलते our pedagogy involves that everybody has to build startups. आप सोचिए cohort of 2025 जो अभी cohort है, उनने ड्रॉप शिपिंग में आपके हिसाब से 2 महीने में student teams while doing their academics and all, they did 3.3 crores of revenue. The team that did the highest revenue had 50 lakhs in revenue.
Actual revenue.
Actual revenue, हाँ, मतलब we actually get them to submit their accounting statement, ये वो सब कुछ. So there in these simulations we are helping them marry what they learned in the class, कि आपने accounting सीखी है ना, अब आप accounting करके दिखाओ हमें अपनी
And
drop
it's only
shipping
been
में.
2 months that they've been.
It's been just 2 months that they did it in. ठीक है. So because venture initiation program mandatory है, what that does is it prepares student for these kind of high stake founder office role, because student ने on ground काम किया हुआ है. Other than that, because people see a lot of success, they like कि नहीं यार मैं खुद ही फाउंडर बन सकता हूँ. प्ले सुपर करके एक टीम है, वो कह रही है आप गेम तो खेल रहे हो, अगर मैं रिवॉर्ड पॉइंट्स को एक्चुअली रिवॉर्ड पॉइंट्स में स्टारबक्स का कूपन है, तो इट विल बी ग्रेट फॉर दी गेमर कि हाँ मुझे और खेलने में मज़ा आएगा. एंड स्टारबक्स के लिए इट्स अ ग्रेट प्लेस टू ब्रांड इट सेल्फ. So they're collaborating with corporates like that to brand themselves. And gaming market, obviously all of us know, serious gaming is becoming a thing in India also now. They have already raised $600,000 before graduating from Masters Union.
Which is seed funding. If
Yes.
I'm not wrong. Wow, great.
So उतनी funding उनकी हो गई है. Then there's a company called Seeds AI. वो लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, वो AI यूज़ करके ये बता रहे हैं कि आपकी टीम में अगर 100 कॉलिंग एजेंट्स हैं, उनमें से जो आपका बेस्ट एजेंट है वर्सेस लीस्ट परफॉर्मिंग एजेंट है, उनमें क्या डिफरेंस है, एंड हाउ कैन योर लीस्ट परफॉर्मर बिकम अ गुड परफॉर्मर. बिकॉज आज अगर इफ आई एम रनिंग अ लार्ज सेल्स टीम, there's huge delta in my best performer versus least performer. How do I bridge that? क्या उसकी script नहीं सही है, क्या वो कुछ और बोल रहा है, क्या वो script सही से ही नहीं deliver कर रहा है? All those things they're automating so that the manager gets these insights. उसके अलावा there's a team जो bootstrap करके एक sales business school बना रही है.
Wow, sales business school.
हाँ, वो कह रहे हैं कि किसी ने sales नहीं सिखाई और sales सिखानी बहुत important skill है. It's called Hive School, right? Bootstrap तरीके से they have already done 50 lakh in revenue.
Wow.
And it is being run profitably and the founder is our student.
So they already have students.
हाँ हाँ, they graduated one cohort with an average salary of 15 lakhs. तो उनका एक पहले, because it's a 4-month program, it's not a long format.
But we were talking about the last cohort only, so they've just passed.
This
out.
is all cohort of
Can
24.
you clarify for the viewers how many months, when did they pass out actually?
So अगर आप officially देखेंगे, I start my cohort in June, ठीक है? जून से लेके नेक्स्ट जून तक ऑलमोस्ट स्टूडेंट्स की क्लासेस चलती हैं 12 महीने, ठीक है जी. इसमें उसके बाद वी हैव 4 months की फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी बिकॉज वी लाइक यू गेटिंग जॉब रेडी, यू आर एक्चुअली वर्किंग ऑन योर स्टार्टअप्स एक्सेट्रा. सो ऑफिशियली आपकी क्लासेस जो हैं वो जून में ख़त्म हो सकते हैं, बट आपका कोर्स इज एंडिंग ओनली इन अक्टूबर विच इज़ जस्ट लास्ट मंथ, विच इज़ वाई वी रिलीज द प्लेसमेंट रिपोर्ट इन नवंबर. तो अंटिल अक्टूबर की बात कर रही हूँ मैं कि उनने 50 लाख से ऊपर का रेवेन्यू कर लिया. Another girl, she is, there's a team of Mayuresh and Ishita. They have started a company of lavash chips and international dips. कह रहे हैं कि जो dips इतनी सारी इंडिया में है, none of them are actually made for Indian palate, and they actually handcrafted a lot of these dips. क्योंकि आज के टाइम में आप किसी भी पार्टी में जाएंगे, यू वुड सी दैट डिप्स और चिप्स रखने का कल्चर हो गया इंडिया में भी, एंड दैट डिप्स आर सो गुड. मतलब लिटरली आई स्टॉक अप टू देम, एंड उन लोगों को अभी 7 लाख की फंडिंग मिली है फ्रॉम बिट्स का जो लैब है वेयर दे आर नाउ गेटिंग इंक्यूबेटेड. सो दैट इज़ हैपनिंग फर्दर. Another student called Madhav, he's creating sneakers. He's very passionate about sneakers. उसने अपनी लाइफ में बहुत sneakers बेचे हैं, reseller था वो पहले. Now he's creating a sneaker brand and he's closed a 1 crore of friends and family round already. Yes. And एक team थी, you know, there was a founder of Blue Brew. वो already अपनी company of denims, you know, jeans भी, jackets भी, everything made of denims and very high quality, very very like Gen Z appealing kind of clothing. And उसकी प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट थी कि मैं ऑलरेडी एक्स रेवेन्यू कर रहा हूँ, बट आई वॉन्ट टू टेक इट टू 10x. सो यू नो हाउ डू यू मेंटर अ स्टूडेंट हु इज ऑलरेडी कमिंग इन विद द बिजनेस. उसका आज के टाइम में 2 करोड़ से ऊपर रेवेन्यू क्रॉस हो चुका है. सो दीज आर द सक्सेस स्टोरीज विच आई एम एक्चुअली मोर प्राउड ऑफ, बिकॉज सी आज के टाइम में इफ वी हैव टू सी इंडियाज गोल ऑफ बिकमिंग, यू नो, द 3rd largest economy and, you know, multi-trillion economy, ये वो, we need more jobs, right? तो job seekers से ज़्यादा I feel that these students are the ones who are becoming job creators.
Yeah.
And that to me is very very inspiring.
I could see the passion with which you were speaking about all of these success stories. Guys, if you've seen a lot of my videos, a lot of people actually go on to do their own things after B school, 2-year B schools, MBA programs, but वो family business होता है. I'm not undermining them, but what she's talked about, this is for the first time I'm hearing such large number of students who've already secured funding in a span of, even if you see 3-4 months when their classes have ended, which is something new. And I have again a few questions. So when you
इसमें
talk,
just one thing I want to add, Abhishek, हमने we'd also introduced something called a founder fellowship. You know, हमारे students से हम feedback हमेशा लेते रहते हैं. हमारे कोहर्ट ऑफ 23 में इतने सारे फाउंडर्स नहीं निकले थे, तो वी आस्क्ड देम कि यार आपने अच्छा किया, स्टार्टअप भी बन गई थी आपकी, बट आप आगे क्यों नहीं कंटिन्यू किए. अ लॉट ऑफ देम सेड कि महक बट घर भी तो चलाना है. सो देन वी सेड दैट फॉर कोहर्ट 24 वी लॉन्च्ड अ फाउंडर्स फेलोशिप. हमने कहा जो टॉप टीम्स एक्चुअली काम अच्छा कर रही होंगी उनको हम 40,000 ऑफ पर मंथ स्टाइपेंड दे रहे हैं इन बच्चों को, where it's not diluting their equity. हम उसकी कोई equity नहीं ले रहे हैं. It is just for us कि आप 12 महीने तक हमारे से support लो ताकि you can actually get revenue, you can actually build your startup. And अगर चौथे महीने या 5वें महीने में there were some teams कि महक हमसे नहीं हो रहा है, they came back to us. We said okay. हमने उन्हें placement process में वापस डाला and help them get placed.
so all of these 22 students were eligible for this?
Yes, these students are those जिनने finally out of all the 200 students who had worked on their startups, these ones showed the highest grit persistence and they're now building their startups full time.
Great. But when we talk about these success stories and these outcomes that you also expect from these students, It's also important to select the right students, because जैसे आपने बताया वो sneaker वाला student, he was already working, and then you also do not really select students with only a high CAT score or entrance exam score. So for people who might be now interested to get admission and want to know why do I apply to Masters Union, what is a kind of profile or student that you expect to land into Masters Union, if you could speak?
So you'll see one thing if I talk about strictly pre-MBA work experience, Abhishek. Okay. Over the years, we've seen that our pre-MBA work experience में only 4% freshers we accept. मतलब जो cohort of 25 है उसमें से 4% freshers है. Despite knowing that actually the largest market out there is of freshers. So I'm actually, still being very selective because I want to make sure that this is so fast paced. उसके चक्कर में we should not, ruin someone else's career. So we want to be very selective when it comes to people who are very early in their career. So I don't think this is a program for everyone. People have typically 2 to 5 years of pre-MBA experience. हमारे cohort of 24 में the highest experience last year was 13 years. तो हम वहाँ तक भी ले रहे हैं. So it's a very, very wide range of 0 to 13 years. Now what we're looking for are 3 things. हम आपका academics देखेंगे, उसका 33% वेटेज है. हम आपकी कम्युनिकेशन देखेंगे, उसका 33% वेटेज है. एंड आपका वर्क एक्सपीरियंस देखेंगे, उसका 33%
So when you say
weightage है.
communication, it's interview. You mean interview?
Yes.
Okay.
We also have a video based thing that the student has to upload as part of the application. So communications, written, interview, सारा कुछ, ताकि if you're not able to express yourself, articulate yourself in class में, we really care about कि cohort की quality क्या बन रही है, right? So we really care about कि यार हर student जो आ रहा है यहाँ पे, do they contribute to the class or not? Because if you don't contribute to the class, it's not going to work out. ये हो गया एकदम ऐसा cookie cutter जो how are we process है ना? But if I look at personality of the student that we look for, which is I think more of what you were trying to ask, उसमें सबसे पहली चीज़ हो गई कि how is the student's mindset? क्या उसमें एक entrepreneurial mindset है? And I'm not saying कि सबको startup करनी चाहिए, मैं भी अभी नहीं startup कर रही हूँ, but I feel that mindset of owning up like an owner, where आप जो काम कर रहे हो आप उस ownership से कर रहे हो, that is very important. ठीक है. दूसरा, we want someone who has made the best use of opportunities that were presented to you. आप IIT दिल्ली गए, उसके बाद भी आपने कुछ ऐसा उसको लेके नहीं किया. You are the best opportunity, you were in the best school in the country. उसके बाद भी आपने, if you didn't have the outcomes or you became relaxed after that, we're not looking for those kind of people. So we've rejected people जिनके undergrads and all are insanely good colleges, but that is never going to be enough. You have to show कि आपने उसका क्या किया उस opportunity का, right? Some people who had poor academics, we accepted them, Abhishek, क्योंकि they have 70,000 followers on Instagram. I was like, yeah, this was his passion. We were judging him for the wrong thing. Ab schools can't be judging for everything, and that's the problem of the current education system. But अगर आपने किसी और चीज़ में बहुत अच्छा किया है, that is also okay, right? फिर आप लीडरशिप पोटेंशियल है आप में, आर यू डिस्प्लेइंग दोज ट्रेड्स कि हाँ हाई इंटेग्रिटी है, ओनरशिप है, ये वो. सो लीडरशिप पोटेंशियल इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. उसके अलावा वी आर लुकिंग फॉर पीपल हु आर ओके टू गेट करेक्टेड. आज अगर आपने भी अपनी क्लास में देखा होगा जब आप अपने MBA कर रहे होंगे कि देर आर स्टूडेंट्स हु आर लाइक वेरी, हमें सब पता है, राइट? नाउ आई कांट कोच समवन हु इज़ नॉट कोचेबल. So are you coachable? Are you willing to, unlearn and then relearn? Because here you will be proven wrong more than right. So you have to have that mindset कि हाँ मैं सीख सकता हूँ वापस. But this is not a school for everyone. We do not follow ऐसा day 0, day 1 type placement approach.
Spoon feeding.
हाँ, मतलब वो नहीं है. We follow a very personalized कि अच्छा आपको किधर जाना है. We want to help you reach your career. So if you're looking for like a सिर्फ placement चाहिए भाई मुझे तो स्कूल से, then I think there are other schools who are probably doing it in a faster way for you. We have a process where we will push you to your limit, and we genuinely want you to be a changed human so that इस MBA के बाद you're not just prepared for your first post-MBA role, but for a lifetime worth of career.
True. I love how you were honest enough to also position where Masters Union stands. Generally, B schools में जिनमें मैं जाता हूँ, day 0, day 1, that's India's culture. अच्छे B schools में there's a day 0 जब आपके IB firms आएंगे, फिर consulting firms आएंगे, फिर FMCG firms आएंगे. But what Mahak said is, here you do not have such a path. You already working in live projects with startups, and then they expect you to find something that you're passionate about and take ownership. And ownership is also in the course, reflected in what she said about the course. And if someone does not know what ownership means, it means that आप अपने job को, अपने role को, अपने business या startup की तरह ले रहे हो. And yeah, अभी आने से पहले I was seeing Mahak, she was also working in the same way. So that's probably what Masters Union is looking at. I want to go to
है ना,
the
हमारी भी सारी कंसल्टिंग कंपनीज जो आती हैं वो बिल्कुल जैसे बाकी स्कूल्स के पास जाती है डे जीरो वाले फॉर्मेट में. सो सम परसेंटेज ऑफ इट मे हैपन कि जो कंपनी
Absolutely.
लेगेसी कंपनी अपना फॉर्मेट फॉलो करेंगी, बट उसके अलावा बहुत सारी और भी कंपनीज जो आती हैं वो उस कुकी कटर फॉर्मेट में नहीं
like
आती.
Zepto, it's not a regular
इट्स
recruiter
नॉट
at
अ
other
रेगुलर
firms, yeah,
रिक्रूटर.
other colleges.
हाँ, मतलब मैं ये नहीं चाह रही कि समवन थिंक्स कि यार हाँ 3 दिन में प्लेसमेंट हो गया, आई एम तो आउट ऑफ इट. दैट्स नॉट हाउ इट वर्क्स हियर.
But now that you spoke about it, could you talk about a few companies which have hired for the last cohort and some numbers if you want to?
Sure. So in terms of numbers, the average CTC that we had is 28.52. I'm actually just going to pull the numbers so that I don't make any errors in the decimals, you know. And if I look at the highest CTC this time, that is actually for someone who went into Microsoft, in fact, in a product management PM2 role.
PM2 is of course not PM1. So
Yes. So if you look at the number of candidates who were sitting for placements, 157 were sitting for placements. The 3 people who've joined family offices. And if you look at the highest CTC, I was telling you that number is 61.80 lakhs. Then if I look at the top 25% of the cohorts average, that is actually at a 43.79 lakh, which is fairly handsome. This time the less than 20 lakh wale bhi hamare students the, unfortunately, because of the markets being choppy. That was almost 13% of our cohort has gone at less than 20 lakh this time. Middle 80% CTC is 27.05 lakh. And ismein a lot of students obviously don't know what is the mix of fixed variable and ESOP. क्योंकि हम लोग audit कराते हैं, so all of these numbers are also audited. So हमारी fixed average salary है 24.07 lakh. Then that is like, you know, pure play take home salary aapki. Then average variable salary is 2.76. And the average ESOPs, this was the place jahan pe compared to last year hamara number drop hua in terms of ESOPs being granted. That is only 1.69 lakh. Nahi to last year our average ESOP value was higher. And I think it's
a reflection of the market.
Exactly. It's a reflection of funding winters being there and all. So that's where we are in terms of the numbers. In terms of recruitment, you know, we've again had 5 VC offers that I'm personally very, very proud of, because I don't think typically एक business schools, at least in India, VCs में जल्दी से students accept होते हैं. So we have someone who's joined K Capital. There's someone who's joined Innovin. Someone who had offer from Palash. Someone who had offer from Good Capital. So that was a good, again, mix. Consulting में you have the usual names: BCG, Bain, Accenture, Kearney, Samagra. In fact, I told you that Samagra के अभी के इस competition में students are there. A fresher went into EY and happened to the same process जो मैं आपको बोली थी कि partner of EY was teaching that class. That student was exceptional. He asked her to refer. She referred and he got through. So EY में students have gone. If I look at tech, we've had students have gone into Google. The students have gone into Microsoft. There are 3 new AI companies that have recruited this time again. So it's very exciting to see that AI is taking, students are getting to get exposed to this new age roles. Then we had quick commerce taking total of 28 students.
Wow,
तो
including
12
Zepto.
जेप्टो में
Yeah,
गए,
yeah.
उसके अलावा आपके Blinkit and Zomato. So again, I think because we had a knack of it early on, we were able to prepare students accordingly for these quick commerce roles, etc. This time we also had 2 investment banking offers, one with Access Capital and the other one was at Kotak. So, and I think the highlight for this year is that we had 10 international offers, Abhishek. And this is a huge jump from the previous year where we had only 2 international offers. तो लोग तालाबाद में गए हैं, डबलिन में भी कुछ companies हैं. Then there's US में there's a student who has actually taken up a quants trading role in a US family office.
Quants trading role?
Yes.
Wow.
So literally, at the time of signing, his boss was like, there's no cap to how much you can earn in this role. And literally that student spoke to people who had worked in that company and they had earned very, very handsome bonuses because of just how you perform.
Structure, yeah.
Yes.
Great. I think the highlight is definitely the international placements and the 22 students who've gone on to launch their own ventures, I would say. Lovely insights I've also got in this interview, Mahek, and thanks for that. Just as a final question, if you'd want to, let the viewers know anything, अगर किसी को मास्टर्स यूनियन में अप्लाई करना है, तो अगर आपको कुछ उनको बोलना है that they should keep in mind, और आपने बताया the profile that you're looking at, but anything else that you want to share as parting thoughts?
So, I'll tell you one interesting thing, Abhishek. I was fairly surprised to know कि Stanford का जबकि average GMAT 730 है, but in my own classroom there were people who had 550 GMAT also.
She's from Mahek is from Stanford, by the way.
Yes.
So she's done her
MBA there,
from
yes.
Stanford, yeah.
So for me, what's very interesting, and that's the memory from there, and which is the thought we've continued to keep here. Your marks alone can't define you, right? So sure, you may have not done well in one aspect of your life, or at one point in time your destiny was not with you. I want to see what have you done great in, and if you've done great in those other aspects of your life, then this is a place for you. And if you look at the mission vision statement of the university, we want to help students shift orbits. What I mean by that is कि अगर अच्छा अभिषेक, हम ना day 1 पे बच्चों से बोलते हैं कि write down your dream, कि आप क्या करना चाहते हो
in life.
हाँ, मतलब long term भी short term भी, आप what would make you feel कि हाँ ये मेरा 16 महीने is what I came in for. आप सोचो cohort 25 के एक स्टूडेंट ने मुझे उस दिन व्हाट्सएप किया with that sheet का snapshot. He's like, Mahek, I had written it on day 1 that I want to get into Bloom Ventures. And he got an internship with Bloom Ventures, and I hope it converts, but he was so ecstatic that, this actually happened because of the kind of curriculum that we teach. And similarly, agar aapka dream hai कि, I want to be a unicorn founder, I want to be a billionaire, I want to be anything, you put your dream down, and for us, we will try our best to provide you resources, mentors, support, ecosystem, which will just help you go there.
Great. Great. So Bloom Ventures is a prestigious internship. It's not as mainstream as the ones that we know or talk about, if you do not know. And yeah, this is what a B school should stand for. It should provide you all resources for whatever you want to do in life. Probably if those influencers want to be a bigger influencer, if someone wants to, start a startup or even take a job kar hi rahe ho. So great. I wish you and Master Student all the best. It's just day 1, I think less than 5 years. And I hope I come again. Thank you so much for these answers.
Thank you so much, Abhishek, for hosting me.